Hello and welcome to the show. Today's episode is going to be a noisy one because it's a full house. Kids are home and it's a weekend. And the topic we're going to look at today is how to deal with price objections in the beauty and skincare space, dealing with price objections in beauty and skincare sales. And the reason why we're looking at this today is because of another podcast listener comment. We're going to call her Neka, the pretty serpent. Of course, that's not her real name. So Neka, the pretty serpent, is based in Enugu. She's a podcast listener, been chatting on WhatsApp a bit. She's a member of a WhatsApp community of other beauty and skincare sales professionals. And the folks in the group had some questions around how to deal with price objections in that space. You're trying to sell your lipstick or to try and sell your bleaching cream or your hair cream or your normal Vaseline cream or your sunblock kind of cream, stuff that people sell, cream that's supposed to deal with stretch marks from pregnancy and all these sorts of things. So you're trying to sell it, and then people say things like, you're too expensive. Or they shout at you, they say, 65K for what? Or, they say, you want to build house? Or they say, 100K in this economy, those sorts of things. So that's what we're going to look at, how to deal with today. Now, if you'd love to connect, then hit me up. The phone number is 080-6466-2140. The country code is +234 for those of you who are not Nigerian. And then connect with me on socials as well. The place where I spend most of my time is on LinkedIn. The name to look for is Tavishima Ayede. Now, before we start going into how to tackle the objections, first off, we need to define what an objection is in the first place, because there are a couple of people who are listening to the show who are newbies and who don't understand, WTF an objection is. So, an objection is just any reason that people give, the potential customer gives, the person on the other side, any reason that they give for not taking the next step or for not continuing with the relationship. So, like with the examples that I gave, for instance, if the person says, you're too expensive, and because of that, they seem to hem, they seem to haul, and it's like they're not really feeling the whole thing again, that's an objection. If the person says, 65K for what? But the person goes ahead and pays, then that 65K is not really an objection. The person was just noting a concern. Let me just put it that way. But if somebody says 65K for what, and then it looks as if things are slowing down or the person is ghosting you, things like that, then that's an objection. So whenever people say all these price related things and it looks like that's the reason why they are not taking the next step, why they're not continuing with the business relationship, then that is an objection. Now, this is not the first objection episode that I've made over here on the podcast. So once you're done listening to this episode, if you're a newbie, just go to YouTube, because all the podcast episodes are there. Over 1,000 podcast episodes. Oh, by the way, I'd like to thank all of you guys that have been with me from the beginning, because we have hit 1,000 episodes. So thank you very much, guys, for keeping me company over the last... I can't remember how long it's been, but I know it's since before COVID became a thing. So since before COVID, for those of you who've been following, supporting, liking, sharing, commenting, reaching out, doing business with me, I'd love to thank you guys for supporting me for 1,000 episodes, or rather, as at today, 1,001 episodes, because I think this particular one, when I load it up, should be 1,002. So thank you very much for the support. I really appreciate you guys for keeping me company along the way, and I'm looking forward to another 1,000 or however many episodes that we still have left together, and I'll do my best to keep providing value to you guys over here to help you grow your businesses. Remember to keep liking and sharing with other people who might also find value from these podcast episodes as well. So, where was I? Okay, I lost my train of thought. Okay, well, we're talking about objections, how to deal with objections, and we had defined what an objection was. Yes, I think that's where I was. Now, like I said, I have dealt with a number of dealt with objections in a number of podcast episodes before. So when you're done listening to this one, if this is your first time listening to the show, then go over to YouTube, because you have over 1,000 podcast episodes there, 1,001 to be precise. Then just hit in the search button, just hit write Tavishima and then write objections, and every single podcast episode that I've made that deals with handling price objections, or just do Tavishima price objections, Tavishima objections, any number of combinations like that, and you should get all the episodes that I've done dealing with this sort of topic. But the general approach is always the same. First off, I want to agree or empathize with people, because I want them to know that what they're saying actually makes sense. They're not being total idiots. Also because, let's face it, if you're the high-priced option, it's like you can't sweep it under the rug. If you're a high-priced option, you're a high-priced option. It's not something you can run away with. So just bite the bullet, agree, empathize. Then we need to ask some questions. And the reason why we need to ask some questions is because sometimes people have unrealistic price expectations. In that case, we need to educate them so that they know what's up, especially when it comes to, all this feminine stuff. Because like someone like me now, I can look at, let's say, hair, for instance, and I'll say, why should this one cost, 300k? And by the time they explain to me, okay, this one is genuine human hair gotten from the heads of somebody in Bangladesh, but then this other one is Darling Yaki, and Darling Yaki can be manufactured by refining petrochemicals and can be done, cheaply in Port Harcourt, then, even if I can't see the difference, at least from a business perspective, I can understand why one is more expensive than the other. Because for the other one, you actually have to go to Bangladesh and shave somebody's head and then knit it together into a skull cap and then sell as human hair. While the other one, all you have to do is just travel down to PH and then buy from the suppliers who are making Darling Yaki, because they're refining petrochemical products. Now, by the way, I'm not in the feminine beauty space, so I do not know how these things are made. This was me just freestyling. So if you're involved in this industry, then please connect with me. Like I said, I gave my phone number earlier. The number is 080-6466-2140. So connect with me. Let me know. It would be nice to let us know what are the factors that affect the quality and the price of these sorts of things. So just educate me so I can also educate other members of the community. Apart from that, if you're able to educate other members of the community and you guys start thinking in terms of what the value proposition is, then it will make it a whole lot easier to start educating people once you start asking them some questions. So remember, first of all, agree and then empathize. Next, ask a couple of questions, because we want to be sure that people have realistic price expectations in the first place, and that they have a firm grasp of price versus value, because it depends. And then we also want to make sure that people are comparing us accurately, because sometimes somebody comes and says that for what, you're too expensive, but meanwhile the person is comparing you to something, but on the face of it looks like you're equal, but by the time you ask questions you realize there's no comparison whatsoever. This is something that I see Igbo traders do very well, like people in the builders market in Abuja here, off of Gudu Junction. It's something that they do very well. You can go and you can try to price roofing sheets, for instance, and the person tells you that it's let me just guess, I can't remember the actual price because it's been a long time since I went to builders market. So the person can tell you that maybe it's 200k per square meter or something, and then the other person says that like how? Now Okechukwu said he will give me at 85k per square meter, but by the time you ask a couple of questions, by the time the trader asks you a couple of questions, say 85, that's a good price now, then take it now. But in fact, before you go south, that 85 per square meter, is it from China he's getting it, or is it from Switzerland? Person now asks, China, Switzerland, what's the difference? Now the Igbo trader will now start educating the person. Now there's a difference now. That the one from China is made with something coating, the one from Switzerland is made with something coating. Because of the way that our sunshine is, it actually is better if you get that one from Switzerland, because at least that one, because of the way that it is made, we are able to give you 100 years guarantee. But that one that is based in China and this kind of coating, we don't expect that thing to last long. Worst case scenario, we'll give you like 5 years guarantee. And the person like, 5 years guarantee? So you see, that's how the Igbo traders, that's how they use this thing very well. They ask you a couple of questions, because on the face of it, you're trying to make a very simple comparison. Like you're saying 200k per square meter. This other person said 85k per square meter. But by the time they ask some questions and they educate you, like, look, the reason why this guy is saying 85k per square meter is because he's selling the China version. And in fact, if you're okay with the China version, come and buy it. I have the China version in my shop. In fact, instead of giving it to you at 85, I'll give it to you at 84 500, something like that. But they go into this whole education process, like, oh, which one are you sure is this or this? The reason why it is like this is because of that, and this is how it affects the price, this is how it affects quality, this is how it affects warranty. So this is something that our Igbo brothers in these sorts of industries, in the building space, they use this technique very well, and it's something that those of you in the beauty and skincare space can do as well. Agree and empathize, then ask them a couple of questions. You even want to know, what's their understanding of price, what's their understanding of value, is the comparison accurate? And another reason why I should ask is because sometimes the reason why people are shouting is just because they don't have all the cash right now. So for some people, payment terms actually will solve the problem. Some people will shout like, 65k. And you might think, okay, they need a discount. And then you start running into discount. But actually, they would be fine if you just offer payment terms. Okay, you know what, 65k. Is it that it's too expensive? Abi, you don't have 65k now. Person says, no, honestly, I don't have 65k with me now. When I came here, I was thinking that 35k will settle it. And then you can do payment terms like, okay, so if you drop 35k now, when can you bring the remaining 30k? And then you have that conversation. Although for me, I'm not a fan of when it's physical products. But anyway, when it comes to feminine products, the conventions are different. So they're used to doing business like that, and these partial kinds of credit, like, okay, you bought clothes and you bought clothes worth 400k, but right now you only have 320k, so you transfer 320 now, and then when you get next month's salary, you now pay 80, and then stuff like that. But if you must do that, just remember to keep your records and know that you have to be chasing people to get your money. But generally, this is the general approach. Number one, agree and empathize. Number two, ask some questions. You need to gain some clarity here. Are their price expectations correct? What is their sense of price versus value? Are they making an accurate comparison? And then is it a matter of payment terms and cash flow? So one way that I have done this in the past is when somebody says you're too expensive, I say, I just agree. I say, yeah, we're expensive, but expensive compared to, and then I leave it hanging because I'm trying to get a sense of what actually I'm being compared to. Or back in my wedding photography days, whenever somebody came at me with a ridiculous figure, I would just laugh and say, okay, it's obvious I'm the first vendor you're talking to, right? And then just keep quiet and then hear what the person has to say. Because for the people who now say, yes, actually, you're the first person I'm talking to, I would now go ahead and educate them. Now, okay, look, based on what pertains in Abuja for wedding photography, there are like 2 or 3 classes of wedding photographers from 100k to so and so. You can expect to get certain kinds of people. If I pull up your Instagram, so you see this guy, these are your 100 to 150k kind of guys, and this is what you can expect to get from them. And then from this class, 300 to so and so, this is what you can expect. And in fact, this is where I fall in. So look at my Instagram handle. Let's pull up a few others. You see, this is the class, this is what you can expect. And then there's those other people who charge like 700k and above, and this is exactly these are the kind of things that you can expect. So you don't have to do business with me, but just go ahead and talk to some other people, and you'll find that what I've given you is an accurate lay of the land. You can expect to do from 150 to 250. You can expect to talk to some people from 350 to 600, 700, and you can expect to talk to some people from 700 and above. And this is what you'll expect. So why don't you just go talk to a couple more people, and then let's talk about this again in another 2-3 days. So that's how I used to use the education thing back when I was still in wedding photography. I'll just laugh it off and say, look, it's obvious I'm the first vendor that you're talking to. And typically, that would be the case, because it was not uncommon for someone to, maybe her older sister got married 3 or 4 years ago, and so she's using the price of 3 or 4 years ago to now judge the vendors that she's talking with today. So those sorts of things happen. So expensive compared to or am I the first vendor you're talking to? All those sorts of things. But you just have to ask a couple of questions. Now, for the technique that our Igbo brothers use who are in the building space, by the way, I'm not trying to stereotype Igbo boys here. I'm just talking about our Igbo brothers and sisters who are in a particular industry. The building industry, because back when Momsi was still working on her house and some relatives were building some stuff, back then, instead of buying things in Makudi, the scope was that you could get higher quality materials in Abuja. So I was spending lots of time in the builders market then, buying, helping relatives buy stuff. And that's when I got to see some of these things in action. Because of my own interest in sales and business development, I'm just there and I'm listening and I'm watching, and I can pick out the techniques that these people are, who are using. So somebody says, back to now beauty and skincare. The person says, 65k. For what? In this Tinubu economy, you just agree and empathize. My sister now, so we say, yes, nowadays these things are very, very expensive. But then you ask a couple of questions because you're trying to figure out who are they comparing you to. So you can ask, okay, have you found this thing cheaper? And then they say, yes, now I saw it now. I'm just coming from Kemi shop, and this one that you're saying 65. Kemi was selling it at 45. Then you can now start asking more questions and do the education thing. You say, okay, so the one that Kemi was selling, is it organic or something? And the person will ask, is it not all the same? Which one is organic or inorganic? Now you go into the education thing. If it is organic, we're using natural tomato and pawpaw to derive our vitamin A, something. It is not industrial, something. Because if you use the China industrial something, the way the thing will burn your skin, when you enter into the sun, the way your skin will do like this, your skin will do like that. But if you're using the organic one that is made from natural pawpaw and natural tomato, the thing will just bring out your real color, blah, 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 blah. All that education jazz. So you can now have that kind of conversation. And now opens up the person's eyes to, okay, this one that I'm looking at, 45k, and the one that 65k, and the one that Kemi is selling 45k, even though the bottle looks similar and on the face of it the name seems to be the same, but there actually is a difference. Then you go about doing the education. So sometimes the education is going to be around quality, around quality, organic or inorganic. Education could be around meals, that's around size, because for those of us who are uneducated, there actually is a difference. Because like for me, since I'm not really a perfume person, my wife is a perfume person, you look at one bottle, you look at another bottle, and they say, this one is 150k, the other one is 80k. For me as a layman, I just say, let's carry the one that is 80k now. That's the way I would look at it. But then my wife will now say, no. Actually, that one that is 100 and something is 165 mils. But this other one that is 80k actually is only 86 mils. So if you do the conversion and everything, you will now see that this one that is 86 mils that they're selling for 80k actually is more expensive, blah, blah, blah. Because for some of us who are novices, you just go there, you see a bottle, and the bottles look like it's the same size, because after all, the difference for those of us who are untrained, the difference between 120 mils and 105 mils doesn't look like a big thing. The bottle just looks like it's the same. But for people who know what's up, or people who have been educated, there actually is a difference. So you can have that conversation about quality, about meals. How many meals is it? Let's see, what else? Okay, and then also the conversation around brand premium. That's also another conversation to have. That my sister, in this economy, but that's just the way that we see it. This one that I'm selling to you now is authentic Mary Kay something. The one that Kemi is selling to you is Aba made, Niger made, Makudi made, Cameroonian made, something, whatever. And unfortunately, by the time this Mary Kay lands at custom, this is the docking price. So if this one is the docking price, how much do you want me to put on top that is going to be my profit? In fact, my sister, this price that I'm giving yourself is a giveaway price, because this one, I'm only making 10k on top. Help me at open market. That all those, all those things that people say. So you can have those honest conversations about brand premium. because it's something that I have been exposed to. Recently, we had to buy some when the kids were going back to school. Buy school bag, buy this, buy that. So those are some of those conversations that we've been having. That's for parents who it matters to those sorts of things. Although for me, when it came to the shoes, like I couldn't be bothered. Like UK shoes, Niger shoes, I don't give a hoot. Just give me shoes. This one looks like it'll work, so let me have it. But yes, you can have those conversations as well. So, let's see. Have I covered everything? You know what? This is just the general approach you take, basically. Somebody says you're too expensive, they start raising money things, agree and empathize. Let them know that, that they're being reasonable and that they're trying to get value for money. But ask them some questions. You want to be sure that they're comparing you accurately to another thing. In fact, this is one reason why we should ask questions about the accurate comparison, because we're actually doing it to protect our customers. Some of you just think, and they say it's too expensive. Kemi is selling it at 20k cheaper. Let them go and buy from Kemi. No. If you know the value of what it is that you're selling, and if you know that you have a superior product, you can't force this lady to buy from you. But at the very least, you owe it to her to educate her so that when she's buying it with a very clear eye and that she knows the risks. That if you buy the real deal, you can continue with your life as normal. And you can enter sun, you can jump bus, you can do whatever, you'll be fine. But if you buy those cheap knockoffs that will destroy the epidermis of your skin, you won't be able to stand in the sun for more than 10 minutes, because if you stay in the sun, your skin will just be red, or you will just start looking green or whatever. So you owe it up to them. You owe it up to your customers to protect them and to make sure that they are well informed. If they have listened to your whole story and they say, you know what, let me just go and buy that 45k on, then you've done your best. But if they listen to you and they buy the good stuff from you, even if they don't buy the good stuff from you, let's say they go and buy it from someplace else, at least you have done something to give genuine value to people who come by your store. So we actually owe it up to our customers to make sure that the comparisons that they're comparing us to other people, we want to be sure that it's the same. It's the same comparison. The level of quality, the level of durability, or whether it's warranty, or whether it's whatever, we need to make sure that it's an exact comparison. But that's just a general approach. So agree and empathize. Ask a couple of questions. What is their sense of price? What is their sense of value? Are they comparing us to other people accurately? Or is this just a moment? Is this just something of payment terms? So, okay, 65. Okay, but you came here with 35. So you now start talking payment terms instead of dropping the discount. In fact, some of you might ask from an accounting point of view, and it would depend on a case-by-case basis, which is better, to actually discount and then collect a lump sum now, or to take flexible payment terms and then give credit and collect money later. Okay, it's something I should research, but it's going to be on a case-by-case basis, and it would depend on the industry, which one is better, to just collect big money now. Let's say you discount and you collect 98% of the money now, instead of insisting on 100% of the price, but then they pay 50% now, and then they owe you the other one, and they pay it maybe after 2 months or something. An interesting conversation. Yeah, I'll talk to some accounting professionals about that and hear what their opinion is. But that's just a general approach. So that is all for today. If you would love to skyrocket your business, then call me. Let's have a no-cost business audit where we can discover actionable strategies to deal with your business problems. The number is 080-6466-2140. Again, the country code is +234 for those of you who are not Nigerian. You can also reach out to me on socials. I'm on LinkedIn. My name is Tavishima Ayede. Thanks for your time and attention. I'll catch you guys at the next episode.